Under the clearest skies, temperatures may drop down to around 5 or 6 degrees. In the countryside, a little lower than this as well. So it's a mixed start to Monday morning. Fairly cloudy skies, showers across northern and western parts of Scotland from the word go. These continuing through Monday morning, 1 or 2 of them on the heavy side. Some sunny spells though down towards the borders and across Northern Ireland, some sunny spells but also a scattering of light showers. Some mist and fog patches first thing across the rest of England and Wales, some low cloud in places too, but largely dry with some hazy spells of sunshine, and it will stay sunny through much of the morning across England and Wales. Showers continue for Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland, and then into the afternoon the shower clouds also bubble up across central and eastern parts of England. Some of these showers could be heavy and perhaps even thundery across northeast England, southeast Scotland into the afternoon. Temperatures here 14, 15 degrees. In the best of the sunshine, further south and west reaching around 20 or 21 degrees. A cooler and cloudier picture is likely on Tuesday, turning quite breezy across southern parts of England. Some showery outbreaks of light rain in places. Best of the sunshine across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and temperatures a little lower than recent days. But that sunshine returning through Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures rising as well.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
More and more people are now tuning in to GB News.
They shape our programmes, we try and incorporate them in our shows as much as we can.
Our audience are really interactive.
Our listeners, our viewers, they're growing.
And that's because they tell their friends and family about what we're doing here at GB News.
It feels like the depth of that connection has strengthened as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us on GB News. Come and say hello to everybody that's here from GB News.
It's been an exceptional event.
We've come a long way here now.
What's so unique about GB News viewers is that they really, really love our country.
And they talk about us so proudly.
We're on a journey together. We are here for all of Britain. We believe in this country, we believe in its people, and we believe in all of the communities who live here.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good evening, this is Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howie. On the show tonight, free speech under attack. The US president dodges another assassination attempt. Does the left have a problem with political violence? We'll be crossing live to Washington in just a few moments. Also tonight, a new boycott crisis erupts in the Arts Centre, but one organisation is fighting back, and they join me in the studio shortly. And a major victory tonight after a charity reinstates a quiet banned from the London Marathon over a member's gender-critical views. But is it too little, too late? And we've got comedians answering some crazy culture conundrums from our live studio audience. But first, the news with Aaron Armstrong.
Thanks, Josh. Good evening to you. 7 o'clock, our headlines from the GB newsroom. Donald Trump was the likely target of last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's according to US Attorney General Todd Blanche. President Trump and the First Lady were rushed to safety after an armed man attempted to storm the event in Washington. One Secret Service agent was shot, but was saved by his bulletproof vest. A 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen has been arrested on firearms and assault charges. He's due in court tomorrow. Police say the suspect had a shotgun, a handgun and multiple knives. Well, Mr. Trump has described the suspect as a sick person who had hatred in his heart and was strongly anti-Christian. Police say the motive remains unknown, but FBI Director Kash Patel has reiterated the investigation is ongoing.
You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel.
Well, President Trump's confirmed the King's visit to Washington next week will continue as planned, telling Fox News we're going to have a great time. Buckingham Palace says discussions are taking place with US officials about any possible impact on the trip. The White House has confirmed security arrangements are being reviewed. Charles says he's greatly relieved President Trump, the First Lady and all guests are unharmed. Well, the Prime Minister's extended his best wishes to Donald Trump following the shooting in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, Sir Keir Starmer is being accused of breaking the ministerial code by failing to declare a meeting with a client of Lord Mandelson's lobbying firm. It's understood he could also face a vote in the House of Commons over whether he misled Parliament in relation to Mandelson's vetting process before he was appointed ambassador to the US. Detectives say they believe the new IRA was involved in a car explosion outside a police station on the outskirts of Belfast. Officers say a gas cylinder was placed in the boot of a hijacked car, with the delivery driver ordered to abandon it outside the police station in Dunmurry. Residents, including 2 babies, were evacuated from nearby properties, and police say it shows murderous intent and capability still exists within paramilitaries in the province. And a new world record's been set at the London Marathon. Kenya's Sebastian Sawe has become the first man to run sub 2 hours. He crossed the finish line in 1:59:30. Tigist Asefa defended her women's title with a new world record of 2 hours, 15 minutes and 41 seconds. Well, more than 59,000 runners have been taking part, and GB News caught up with some of them at the finish line.
I don't think I've trained in weather over about 3 degrees, so a bit of a shock out there, but definitely it's just a thrill to get all 6, and this was the best one. It was awesome.
I set out to break the record for fastest marathon dressed as a swimmer, and I did it! So I came in at 3:35, which is my fastest London marathon ever. and yeah, smash that record.
The crowds are incredible.
Yeah.
You said you
Yeah.
don't appreciate them at the end, though.
Yeah, you're like,
I did not appreciate them at the end.
The medals are amazing.
Yeah, medals-
Pink, we love it.
Yeah.
Girls can do hard things. They can.
And congratulations to all of those who've been taking part. That's it for the moment. More at 8 o'clock.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howie. This is a show where we cast our gaze across a spectrum of culture, current affairs and politics, doing our very best to bring a bit of common sense to that which has become senseless. We have lots to talk about over the next 2 hours, including why are Jews afraid? That's the question posed by a recent BBC Panorama documentary, and I'll be giving you the answer, except it's going to be the truth. Also, a church in Essex is challenging a legal notice over its street preaching, and are TERFs at war and why? But first, it's the assassination attempt that has rocked the world again. President Trump was expected to speak at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner when he was hurried out of the room following a gunman's attempt to break a checkpoint. Footage released by the president shows the suspect, Cole Allen, charging past officers at around 8:36 p.m. before being tackled to the ground. According to police, the shooter was armed with a shotgun, a handgun and multiple knives. There are a lot of questions arising from this. What implications will this have for the King's security on his visit to Washington? We're going to go live to Washington, D.C., where GB News royal correspondent Cameron Walker is there for us and has some breaking news from Buckingham Palace. Hello. What is this news?
Hi, Josh. Yes, I've received a statement from Buckingham Palace in the last couple of minutes. It says, following discussions on both sides of the Atlantic through the day and acting on advice of government, we can confirm the state visit by their Majesties will proceed as planned. The King and Queen are most grateful to all those who have worked at pace to ensure this remains the case and are looking forward to the visit getting underway tomorrow. Now, I understand that although the vast majority of the state visit is going to be going ahead, there are going to be a few minor, what they describe as kind of operational changes to the visit. The problem is we're not quite sure what that means. Does that mean less contact time with ordinary members of the public? We know that the King and Queen and other members of the royal family like doing walkabouts. Does that mean a change in location to some of the engagements? We simply don't know. We are trying to get more details on that. But of course, there have been discussions well over through the night following on from the assassination attempt on President Trump and senior members of the Trump administration. The British government said this morning that they take the security of King Charles incredibly seriously, as does Buckingham Palace, of course. And I think it was probably a situation where Secret Service were talking to the Royal Protection Officers here in London, the Metropolitan Police who deal with royal protection for the King and Queen, and basically trying to seek some kind of reassurances that when the King and Queen are on American soil, both here in Washington, where I am, also in New York and Virginia, that they are going to be as safe as possible. I suppose clearly with this gunman, Cole Thomas Allen, who's in police custody at the moment being questioned, 31-year-old, he was targeting Trump, wasn't he? He was targeting the Trump administration. He was not targeting, as far as we're aware, King Charles and Queen Camilla. So therefore, the level of threat against the royal family is not more than it was 24 hours ago, if that makes sense. So let's wait and see. The King and Queen clearly keen, or at least the government clearly keen, to try and use the King's soft power to repair that relationship between President Trump and Sir Keir Starmer, Downing Street and the White House, of course. But this runs far deeper than whoever occupies the White House or who is occupying 10 Downing Street. This is about two nations celebrating 250 years of the Confederation of the United States, and the constant in all of those 250 years is the British monarchy, and that's what's going to be celebrated this week.
That's it. You don't think there's, as you say, I mean, it's vitally important to our government for the King to go out there and the King and Queen to repair this relationship that arguably the government has damaged. Do you think there was really ever any question of the King and Queen not going out there?
It's really hard to say. I think it would have been incredibly embarrassing for President Trump if the state visit was pulled at such quite so last minute. I think he probably would get on Truth Social straight away and start criticising the UK government, because remember, it's the UK government that is sending the King on a state visit. So if the government says you're not going, the King is not going to be going. President Trump always describes the King as a friend, so I think he would have done everything within his power to make sure that the King and the Queen was going to be safe while they're here in Washington. And in fact, in his press conference yesterday, President Trump said he was battling with the Secret Service, wanting this White House Correspondents' Dinner to continue once that gunman has been apprehended. But due to protocol, the Secret Service said, no, sir, you've got to go back to the White House, you've got to stay safe. And he has already pledged that he's going to redo that White House Correspondents' Dinner within the next 30 days. So Trump is absolutely determined, clearly, to make sure that people like this gunman who targeted Trump and targeted the Trump administration are not going to stop their way of life and stop celebrations such as this.
OK, well, thank you very much. GB News Royal Correspondent Cameron Walker. We're going to get our take now from my guests, who this evening are Aideen McQueen and Cresta Wetton. Let's give them a round of applause. Weird applauding as we're talking about an assassination attempt. Cresta, another assassination attempt, and seemingly someone from the left again.
I think if you are trying to attack the entire right administration, that kind of counts as a leftist, doesn't it? I think. And this guy.
Well, he had him. In his
well, there you go. There you go.
Which for me is about as big a red flag as a Palestinian flag, actually.
I don't know if he had one. I don't think he had one on the day. Yeah, I mean, he's a teacher, isn't he? He's a celebrated teacher, somebody who'd won.
Wait a minute. I know a teacher. I know a former teacher.
Who, me?
Have you been frisked? Are you safe?
Well, I relate, because sometimes when those kids are getting to you, you just wish you had a... You know, I can see why it happened. Yeah, I'm shocked by how he managed to get into the Hilton Hotel with so many weapons on him. I mean, I remember when Prince Charles, as he was then, visited my hometown, a small, quiet town in Ireland, not an IRA town by any means, and like we all had to leave shops. Everywhere that was in shooting range was cleared out. The forensic amount of detail that they went into was incredible. So he has to have somebody on the inside.
Well,
it's just
you say
really
that,
strange.
But Cresta, this is America, and I'm sure that if he had a bazooka, they'd be like, well, is it for personal use?
No, not at all. I am completely with you. He should have been... What is anybody doing going into that hotel, staying... I mean, he mocked this in his manifesto. He's got a manifesto, so we'll find out what he's thinking. And I
think it's funny how we're calling it a manifesto when essentially it's an email.
Well,
he sent an email to his parents.
Look, it's not like we don't know anything about this guy at this point. We know he was a celebrated teacher. He's from the left. His manifesto has this attitude of, like, I'm doing the world a favour. He talks about Jesus wouldn't have turned the other cheek if other people were being oppressed. So he's turning himself into this kind of hero of the oppressed.
I don't remember Jesus rocking up with a shotgun.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Josh. But my point is he's done that thing that we see more and more. He's turned it into, OK, it looks like violence to some people, but really I'm a good guy, and here's why. He's dehumanised the other side. So it's all justifiable to him. And that's a huge worry, isn't it? And that's why in his speech earlier, Trump said that people should be resolving things with discussion. I mean, you think that would be obvious, but it isn't at this point. So this guy, I guess he'll become another hero of the left.
He definitely will become another hero of the left. There's a lot of people who say in bars around the country, if I could have a gun and shoot Trump. And he's done what is so many people's fantasies.
But why are they coming to this conclusion? And that's, I think, what you were touching upon there, is a lot of this narrative about Trump is coming from the mainstream media, certainly in America, that he's this Nazi and this evil human being and he's taking everyone's rights. And so that by not dealing in sort of reality, you don't have to agree with every policy that he does, but it doesn't make him the worst human being on the planet. Where you've got someone like, in this country, you've got Polanski sort of saying, well, I choose Trump. Isn't that what he said the other day? I choose Trump over Putin or something. You're just like, really? Really? That's the level that we're at now, is you think that Trump is worse than Putin. That's not a good state of affairs. And it's that kind of rhetoric, of course, that leads people to violence, isn't it?
It is, but I don't think that the mainstream media are still not responsible. It's everything that's outside the mainstream media, and almost the continuous consumption of social media that we have that's completely brainwashing us. I mean, this guy could have been psychotic for all we know. You know, it'd be interesting to find out more about his mental state.
He, him in his bio. You know, if he uses pronouns, he doesn't know what sex he is.
So clearly psychotic then. I don't think the media can be blamed for this. I think it might be a slightly natural reaction to how people feel they are being oppressed by the Trump regime.
That's it, but why do they
they're not
feel that they're
discussing
being
the policies. They're just saying, no debate, I'm going to use violence.
That's the final question then, Cresta, is this violence that we're seeing does seem to be coming mostly from the left now.
Absolutely, and it's this thing we've said a million times on this show, when you start conflating words with actual violence, it's only so long before you think those things are interchangeable, and rather than have a debate, you would. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying. Of course, yeah, he's not well. He's a very unusual, anomalous individual. But I'm starting to feel like he speaks for a section of.
What about the assassin? It was a joke.
Lol.
Yeah, very funny.
Well, let's just hope that King Charles and Camilla are frisked as they go in, and that there's no more guns brought in anywhere near President
Prince Charles has got those hands. Right, next on Free Speech Nation, have there been a split in the gender-critical movement? We are going to find out what's been happening and why the ultras, who they are, and why they're upset with J.K. Rowling. See you in 2 minutes.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow. We can allow.
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB Newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. Should you never use a person's preferred pronouns? Should drag queens be banned? These are long-standing fault lines that are causing disunity in the gender-critical movement. The recent furore started when J.K. Rowling said that she referred to a trans person in her life by her preferred pronouns, or his preferred pronouns. After a backlash from purists, inverted commas, the author wrote, "Linguistic prescription is authoritarian." It's one of the things trans activists have used with enormous success. Seeking to control what people are allowed to say is a hallmark of cults and totalitarian regimes. So is there a potential purity spiral in the gender critical movement, and given the pressing issues facing women's rights? Well, to have a debate about this is the women's rights activist Julia Long and campaigner Sarah Finnemore. Welcome to the show. I've got to be honest, I saw this play out online this week, and I wanted to talk about it on the show, but I got a little bit scared because I was like, who is going to be attacking me? It did seem to get a little bit heated. I mean, we're friends, we know each other, so it's not like that. But I was sort of liking your post, and then I was liking your posts, and it was all very confusing. For people at home who might not understand the intricacies of this, let's first of all just talk about what is an ultra, Julia.
OK, so this word, I think it was quite a disparaging term that was coined by a journalist to refer to those of us who believe that language is crucial in this whole debate, whole scenario, this whole situation of the assault on women's rights and women's lives by men who pretend to be women. So it was used rather disparagingly, and it seems to have kind of taken off as a kind of shorthand for those of us who, as I say, believe that language is crucial. It's fundamental.
Is it more than just language, though? Because, I mean, is it like the banning of drag, for example? Some people would say that that's offensive, that's a kind of blackface of...
OK, well, I think maybe before we kind of try and take everything on at once, my position, and again, I don't really like this term ultra. I use it in my Twitter, X, whatever, as a kind of ironic thing, because that's what we were called. I don't think it's an extreme position to say that's a man, if that's a man we're talking about. I don't think that's in any way. It's no more extreme than saying that this is a chair. It's a necessary use of language to clarify and to communicate clearly, and that is particularly important when you've got a lot of when you've got a cohort of men, significant numbers who've managed to capture all our major political institutions and convince them that they actually are some sort of variety of woman and that they should be, allowed to come into women's spaces, etc., etc. So I think the naming of men as men, it's not a purist thing, it's not an ultra thing, it's fundamental. It's the first principle that we have to be able to name that reality, because if we can't, as soon as we start to refer to these men as any kind of woman, for a start, we're totally departing from reality, because they're not, and also then we're opening the door to give away all our rights to men who would want to take them from us.
OK, well, what Julia says makes a lot of sense, Sarah, and I think, actually, you pretty much agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what the self-identifying ultras say about pronouns. What I don't agree with is this slide into trying to police what people say in private, and that's the point that J.K. Rowling is making. I also make the point, I'm a family lawyer. If I had a distressed, mentally ill teenage client, that would not be the time to start lecturing them about my politics or what's real. And so I still think it has to be an individual choice in the private sphere. In the public sphere, absolutely. When the police talk about committing her crimes, I mean, that's infuriating and that's dangerous. So I've got no problem at all with that position on pronouns, but when it slides into the private sphere, I've got big problems. And when I'm told by the self-identifying ultras, oh, no, we're not trying to compel you. I mean, I've spent 48 hours dealing with people when I didn't agree with them about pronouns, started to insult me, tell me I was mad, tell really harmful lies about me and things I hadn't said. A man who made the mistake of supporting me DM'd me to say there was a group of women now mocking him for having had a seizure. So this is about coercive control. They may not be saying, oh, no, we're not trying to make you agree with us, but the response from a small subset of women who profess to follow that credo is really damaging and harmful. So I have a big problem with that. And when it spills over into saying, well, no man could ever wear a dress because that's a sexual assault in which I refuse to participate, I don't have patience with that as a position. People can hold it. but I'm not going to hold it, and I'm not going to be bullied, threatened or insulted into holding it. And I think this is where the fault lines are. Not that I disagree with what Julia is saying about language, it's crucial, but you cannot take this into the private sphere. We need to have the law very firmly back on track. Sex is real, you can't change it. You can call yourself a woman, but there's some places you can't go if you're a man. And once that's established, what people do with their own friends in their private lives is their business.
OK, so can I come back on that, please? So for a start, I think it's really crucial to understand just how serious that tweet was from J.K. Rowling, where she talked about calling a man she, referring to him as a trans woman, etc., saying that he had female-coded behaviour. All of these things are so insulting to women and so counter to even things that she said before. And she didn't say this in the privacy of her own home. She said it to her 14 million followers and all the rest of us on X. So she put that out into the public domain. Now, 50 years ago, a very wise woman, Adrienne Rich, a poet and essayist, Adrienne Rich, wrote a brilliant essay in which she said, because women have been gaslit for centuries through male-dominated society where the reality of our experience has been denied, and we're constantly interpreted as being mad or something if we try to testify to the reality of our experience. She said that we have women's primary obligation to each other is not to gaslight each other. It's not to undermine another woman's reality or sense of reality. And when she did that, she put the interests of that man before women, and she actually, I think most of us now have shifted to a position of understanding how crucial language is, because if we can't name reality, we're not dealing in reality.
Fair enough, but she wasn't saying that you have to refer to that person as a woman, though, is she?
The fact that, yeah, but when, I don't know, in other arenas, when these men are called she, then the likes of J.K. Rowling and some of the others who joined in are all up in arms about it. So she was being very, very inconsistent, and I think she was gaslighting women. And then to come back when women, and maybe, I don't know, Sarah's given some, examples that sound pretty unpleasant. What I've seen, obviously you can't see the whole of X, what I've seen was women actually being extremely respectful and sort of kind of paying homage to, she's done so much work, and we appreciate all of that. I do think part of the problem is when you put someone on a pedestal who maybe isn't, shouldn't necessarily be there, because she does still say things such as, she still believes in this fiction of trans people, and clearly calls certain men she, against any kind of logic. Because if we're saying a male person is a man and the pronoun for a man is he, that doesn't matter then if he's committed a crime or if he's your friend. It doesn't matter. That's all completely illogical. But I saw women being really very respectful and not dictating what she should. Obviously, none of us are in a position to dictate what she should say. But what they were doing was saying, this is what you're doing by using this language. And then she came back with all of this, you're policing my speech, you're authoritarian. But actually pointing out when someone is departing from truth, that is not interfering with free speech.
I think the thing is, I did see people who were respectful, and frankly, I did see people who I think crossed the line. She's a very smart human being, Sarah, and she would know that this position and to write it publicly would have a reaction, yet she still chose to do it, suggesting to me that there might be a reason that she knew that there would be this reaction and she still went ahead with it. That suggests that there's thought behind it and arguably integrity if she thinks that she's going to be attacked because of it.
I think that's entirely the wrong emphasis. I don't care if she's clever or stupid. She gave it lots of thought or no thought at all. She has a right to believe that and to say it.
But wouldn't that be what her purpose is, though, is to deliberately put
I
that out?
can't second-guess her purpose, and again, I say it's irrelevant. I think this is where Julia and I disagree. She's got a lot of followers. A lot of people read what she says, but she was talking about her friend. She wasn't saying that male prisoners should go to female prison. She's been very much against that. So I come back to my position. We get the law sorted out and we make it very clear that sex is real and it matters. Then what you want to do with your friends in your private life is your business. And I'm really disturbed by this. She shouldn't say it because it upset women. Women felt they were being gaslighted. Well, tough. Feel your feelings. Your feelings are not more important than anything else, and certainly not people's right to speak as they choose. And that's where I'm parting company with the so-called ultras. And to talk of respectful debate, I mean, Julia, you called a lawyer, a very well-known, very respectable lawyer, who's done a lot of work in this field, a lot of good work. You called her a dimwit. Now, that is not
that was
respectful. You could have said, I disagree with you for these reasons.
Because J.K. Rowling referred to a man as female-coded. Well, so and what that I didn't even know she was a lawyer. I don't know who she is, but she was saying, oh well, we call all our friends different pronouns and it's all fine. Well, no, it's actually not fine.
Well, that's fine. I support your right to call her a dimwit, but don't tell me this is about respect.
Well, no, because
not,
her position was not something I could respect. Absolutely, but in terms of what I saw, the sort of pushback against J.K. Rowling, I think it was entirely justified. And if at times it was rather frustrated and angry, I think those women were absolutely right to be frustrated and angry, because as soon as you call a man she, you're putting his interests across the interests of women, and you're supporting his right to impersonate womanhood.
Can I just ask a question? Do you think the part of this frustration is because there are people who've been arguing this for arguably a decade longer than that now and making this same point? Also, when they did make this point, that they were sort of attacked, and a lot of those people have come around to see that actually this was a vitally important part of it.
I mean, as we've seen over the years, I think those of us who saw it clearly, you know, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, certainly were not popular amongst those women who've become rather prominent now and rather high profile with books and, you know, media appearances, etc. We saw them all calling men she habitually, and again doing this gaslighting.
But they have come around more to your position now.
Exactly. Over the years, they have come around. So I think it's rather... I'm totally at a loss as to why J.K. Rowling chose to do this.
Can I just say something? Sorry, but do you think they came around because of they were abused or coerced, or do you think that they were actually given time to see this argument through and change their mind in a space at their own discretion?
I don't know. I just think there's a massive difference between women who are frustrated and angry and victimised. I hope I can understand where those women are coming from, and the women who attacked me very deliberately, very personally and very harmfully. Now, that's something I'm always going to be against. You're never going to erase gender identity. There are always going to be men who want to call themselves women. And I think the ultras, the self-confessed ultras, have to be very honest with themselves. What are they saying? If they're saying that linguistic purity is so important, well then,
not purity.
The end of the road is a law compelling that. No. And they are already saying that they are going into the private arena. And if they say they're not about compulsion, Julia, so I make this plea to them all, could they please stop behaving in the ways of the worst trans rights activists and using really serious coercive control to shut people up?
That is so offensive.
Okay. Well, that's been my experience.
Is there a law
Julia?
against blackface? Is there a law against blackface? Why do we never see someone in blackface, you know, on chat shows like this?
Julia, that's not the issue, and that's deflection.
Is
it okay to tell serious and harmful lies about me online because I disagree with you?
I've got no idea what you're talking about. I've got no idea.
It's my lived experience, Julia.
The reason we don't do blackface is because there has been
there's a consensus.
A consensus that has been created.
Exactly.
The question is, does that consensus come about through abuse or through having conversation?
I feel that, no, I think that's unfair, Josh. I think it comes about because people recognise that blackface creates an unequal playing field for black people within a society where other people are, you know, white people are kind of aping them, impersonating them. There's a consensus that is wrong, and it's dehumanising. So why then is it that we have, you know, wall-to-wall BBC drag queens, RuPaul, we have the drag queen story time, we have men, we have this character at Oxford University going into work with his fake breasts, and the women in his office have to sit and have that totally sort of offensive and dehumanising performance that they're forced into.
We've got to go to break. I want to say I agree with what you're saying. I just really like J.K. Rowling as well. So, and I think that she should be able to give her opinion, and I think that's totally valid, and Sarah as well. Thank you so much for joining us for that fantastic debate. Julia Long, my friend Julia Long, she's still my friend Julia Long, and Sarah Bellamore. We'll see you guys in a moment. for some questions from our audience for our fantastic comedians. See you in 2 minutes.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. Plenty of sunshine across central parts of the Mediterranean. A little cloudy across parts of the Canaries over the next few days. Perhaps even 1 or 2 showers in places. Breezy across Madeira as well. Plenty of sunshine in Spain and Portugal. Just 1 or 2 showers across the north. Warm sunshine across much of Italy into Greece, though 1 or 2 showers are possible. And generally light winds as well. Temperatures a little above average and staying sunny over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Over the next 24 hours or so, we'll see an increasing risk of some showers, particularly across the north and the east. Some of these will be heavy at times. Looking at the bigger picture, high pressure generally is in charge of our weather at the moment, so showers will be slow moving, hardly an isobar on the chart indicating light winds. For the rest of today, variable cloud across England and Wales overnight, 1 or 2 light showers possible, but most places dry with clear spells. A few showers for Northern Ireland, northern and western parts of Scotland too. Under the clearest skies, temperatures may drop down to around 5 or 6 degrees. In the countryside, a little lower than this as well. So it's a mixed start to Monday morning. Fairly cloudy skies, showers across northern and western parts of Scotland from the word go. These continuing through Monday morning, 1 or 2 of them on the heavy side. Some sunny spells though down towards the borders and across Northern Ireland, some sunny spells but also a scattering of light showers. Some mist and fog patches first thing across the rest of England and Wales. Some low cloud in places too, but largely dry with some hazy spells of sunshine, and it will stay sunny through much of the morning across England and Wales. Showers continue for Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland, and then into the afternoon the shower clouds also bubble up across central and eastern parts of England. Some of these showers could be heavy and perhaps even thundery across northeast England, southeast Scotland into the afternoon. Temperatures here 14-15 degrees in the best of the sunshine, further south and west reaching around 20 or 21 degrees. A cooler and cloudier picture is likely on Tuesday, turning quite breezy across southern parts of England. Some showery outbreaks of light rain in places. Best of the sunshine across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and temperatures a little lower than recent days. But that sunshine returning through Wednesday and Thursday and temperatures rising as well.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain,
with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK. GB News Bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB loyalty points are here. They're our way of saying thank you for spending time with GB News. Through commenting on your say, voting in You Decide polls and shaping the debate, you can earn GB loyalty points. Unlock rewards, reach milestones and climb leaderboards. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be part of them. Get started by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/loyalty points.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. I wish we'd filmed that section there during the break. We're all having a lovely discussion. Welcome my comedian guests this evening again are Aidan McQueen and Cresta Wetton. Let's give them a big round of applause. I got to say, I'm doing pretty well for someone who ran the marathon earlier. I think.
Did you? What?
No,
No, you. We would have heard about it.
You would have definitely heard about it. We've got some questions now from our audience. Our first question is from Missy.
Are Chinese Americans allowed to be portrayed as smart?
Yes, are Chinese Americans allowed to be portrayed as smart? So this is the new film, The Devil Wears Prada 2. It's facing a boycott in Asia over the portrayal of a character they said was an offensive caricature. The character of Jin Chao is Anne Hathaway's assistant in the film. Chinese American actress Helen J. Shen portrays the character, who appears socially awkward and lists her academic achievements. Critics have focused on this part of the trailer, saying that it's an offensive character of Asian behaviour. So, Cresta, I mean, I thought this would be like a positive thing as opposed to all the drug addict Chinese Americans.
No, Josh, this is like a competent white dad in an advert. You're not allowed to do it. It's just mad, isn't it? And also, the person who's created this character has said, look, it's actually the Chinese bit isn't the important bit. The stereotype you're supposed to be looking at is that she's Gen Z, and this is how this person perceives that generation. But the people who want to lay a race into it, that's what they want to see, that's what they've seen.
Yeah, this is what they've seen.
Like positive stereotypes. Speaking as an Irish person, and everyone loves us and thinks we're great crack. Like, lean into it. Pick your battles, Chinese people, you know? If they're saying good stuff about you, go with it, use it. We Irish people have been lying to you for years. We're horrible in real life. You know, we've leaned into the
Jews already know
stereotype.
that.
Touche. But it is, like Cressida says, it's a Gen Z stereotype, and all these Gen Zs, they have no modesty. You know, you give them a compliment, they say, thank you so much, then they go on about it for 5 minutes. They list out their accolades. It's really shocking for us. You know, there's no shame about mental health anymore. And really, there should be. They need to tone it all down.
Absolutely. And by the way, in the film, the first film, you had exactly the same, a frumpy kind of academic overachiever, and that was the film as she then started wearing Versace.
Yeah.
It's like, OK, they've just happened to have made that character Chinese-American now. Wow, whoop-de-doo.
But don't Chinese people's IQs, on average, are higher than most other races?
Wow.
Oh.
That is not Chinese at all.
Wow.
Next question is from Anton.
Is football focused over because it is focused more on DEI?
Is Football Focus over because it focused more on DI? So the BBC announced that Football Focus is to be axed after 52 years on, and amidst concerns it had become a bit more for football wokers. The stable of Saturday lunchtime viewing, launched in 1974, has been seen a rating spiral in its recent years, with host Alex Scott coming in for much criticism. As producers attempt to modernise the show, it began to have a reputation amongst groups of viewers, becoming smug and uninspiring. But did DI kill this iconic football show? I never watched it. I don't know. Is it just a coincidence? I mean, they were saying that it's also like COVID.
I think it's just a coincidence because it's not so dramatically fallen in the ratings.
I think it's third, like gone from like 1 million to like 700,000.
Yeah, so but
and I've got all those viewing figures now.
It's probably in line with people like not watching TV anymore. And number one, Football Focus is on a Saturday at lunchtime. That's when people are actually watching football matches. So it's not real fans who are watching Football Focus. I think they should double down on the wokeness. I think they should get Graham Norton and Rylan and the campus people, all the trans presenters they can find. Everyone presented in ball dresses, playing football in high heels. I think they need to triple down on this.
You joke, but that is probably the replacement.
No.
Is the BBC going to learn this lesson and just focus on maybe the best presenters who know the most about football? I know whether she does or not.
Oh, yeah, I've got no idea about her.
She played for England, so she must know a few things.
What sport?
Table tennis. No, football.
What, they've got women's football?
I've never watched it. I've never watched football. It's not my territory, but I strongly suspect that this is more of the working class male territory being slowly taken, the habitat's dwindling, and presumably they feel that and they don't like it and they're watching other things.
They do it in Ireland too with the Gaelic games, and even though Gaelic sounds very gay, it's actually very straight. And my dad gets really riled up, like, you know, if he'll need his extra medication to thin the blood when they have all the female presenters that they have on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
well, look, our next question is from Ryan.
Hi all. Is free speech at universities safe?
Is free speech in universities safe? This is a great situation, actually. The government has announced, finally, a new system designed to safeguard free speech at universities across England. The Office for Students will oversee the scheme. Launching from the next academic year, the system will allow university staff, speakers, non-student members to report concerns regarding providers in England, according to the Department for Education. So when they brought in the Freedom of Speech in Higher Education Act about a year ago, and the government was forced to bring it in, actually, with threat of legal action from the Free Speech Union, they left out this very crucial component, which was the ability to have some teeth to it. Now, finally, they've said, all right, and that's a good thing, surely.
It feels like a good thing. I'm nervous because it sounds too good to be true, and I think, oh, what's the next loophole going to be where this doesn't work? But it's fantastic, isn't it? This is what education should be, an opportunity to debate ideas. There's a serious danger of people getting a real education now at this point, and of course being exposed to things that they might not have known or agree with. So I think it's a really positive step, but I'm very suspicious of it. I mean, it's about time, isn't it, that universities were forced to take some responsibility for giving people an education, the thing they claim to do.
Absolutely.
So let's see.
Well, look, we've got to get to a break. Coming up, cancel culture in the arts sector has surged in recent times, with artists facing witch hunts in the form of boycotts. I'll be talking to the authors of a report on this issue next. You don't want to miss it. See you in 2 minutes.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co. with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here to GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. Cancel culture in the arts sector has surged in recent times, with artists facing witch hunts in the form of boycotts, cancellations and reputational damage. To combat this, Freedom in the Arts has launched a new report and practical toolkit for navigating boycott pressure in the arts. And joining me now is the woman behind the report, British choreographer and CEO of Freedom in the Arts, Rosie Kay, and founder of the Glee Clubs, Mark Tungham. Welcome to the show. So, Rosie, it's so interesting sort of seeing your story over the years. You come on this show, the original cancellation, and how you've turned that into gold, and how now this is like a concrete way of actually sort of fighting back what you went through yourself, right?
I suppose, like, personally, I do, like, really enjoy helping other people that are in a situation of crisis. And, you know, just sort of saying to people, look, you're not going mad. This is a really mad kind of times that we're living in, and it really sort of through that navigating your way out of it while protecting your career as far as possible. But I guess with this report we've really branched out not just with artists, which we've surveyed, and we've got some really good evidence about what's going on, particularly with anti-Semitism, but we've also surveyed and worked and done case studies with venues, arts organisations, and then a third part is with agent managers and promoters. So we're trying to piece together almost how the system works, but also where the economic risks are.
That's interesting, because Mark, I mean, you started the Glee Clubs. I have been very fortunate to have performed there over the years. And that you're right, Rosie, that we don't really look too much at what's happening with venues, because it seems like someone's got a view that someone doesn't like, and then someone calls it in, and then more often than not, the venue will just go, oh, I don't want to deal with this, and just and pull it. And that is having a detrimental impact on the arts.
Well, the truth is we are essentially paralysed with fear. I mean, my own cancellation journey, insofar as you can call it, started with receiving a fatwa. That was for the Dutch comedian Hans Tuin. Then it went on with Jerry Sadowitz. And my current brush with cancel culture currently features Andrew Lawrence. Now, we're known for not backing down, I'd like to think, and we went ahead with all those gigs. But the fact of the matter is, I can report from the inside that there is a huge culture of fear going on there. And the reason why I intervened, for example, in the Andrew Lawrence case, was because I happened upon an email exchange which, if I hadn't intervened, there's no way that booking would have taken place. I found out about it and I made sure it happened. But if I hadn't found out about it, it would never have happened, and I wouldn't have known.
The thing is, Mark, is that, frankly, you're a rarity in this comedy industry, and that's a real shame. So what do you think, Rosie, in this report is going to help other people who own venues to get a bit of backbone?
Well, so there's two things that we're launching in Westminster tomorrow. One is the report, which I'd say is pretty harrowing, chilling,
just
difficult
to recognise
reading.
what the situation is.
Just to say, this is the truth, this is what we're seeing, this is what we're hearing. Venues are full of fear, don't know what to do, zero leadership. Agents really sandwiched between whether they protect their artists by telling them to shut up, or trying to hold on to those relationships where are often unspoken, they go back years, things not put in writing anymore, secret blacklists, all this. So what we've tried to do is piece together all of our research, all of our case studies, and we've created a three-part toolkit, which if Scope had looked at, it might have helped them a little bit this weekend. So it's really, it's one section for artists, one section for venues, one section for agents. It goes through how to deal with a crisis, statements, holding statements, policy advice. Some legal advice will be going up on it, decision trees, risk reputation. It's really a step-by-step guide to say it's not if it's going to happen to you, it's when it's going to happen, and, like, do something, take your time, de-escalate, get advice. Don't just kind of have a knee-jerk reaction. So hopefully we're coming out with the first of its kind, like, proper toolkit to help anyone in the arts, in fact, anyone in the charity sector too. Yeah, well, the most frustrating thing for me, seeing the sort of cancellation of Jerry Sadowitz and Andrew Lawrence, is to sort of see how the comedians who partake in it, and also the promoters, they don't seem to understand that this is going to impact them in a negative way.
it might be a short-term solution just to kind of brush it aside, but in the long term, it's going to damage the art form. And you've arguably seen a lot of comedy clubs where, frankly, they are playing it safe and their bills suck.
Well, you've said the word that I was going to use, safe. You know, it's going to make comedy safe. It has already made comedy safe, and because it's making comedy safe, it's making it a bit dull. People aren't taking risks in the way that they used to, and I want to get back to the position whereby comedians can feel safe, take risks, do the too soon jokes, and not have to worry either about the audience or the activists, or frankly about me, because I think some comedians self-censor a little bit because they fear that if the public complain to me, I won't book them. But in actual fact, what I want to say to them is, I'll back you to the hilt. Go on stage and take some more risks.
And do you think that this report is going to allow that? Because what I've always thought that's going to make the difference is when, and we've seen this from some comedy clubs, where their numbers go down, where the audiences just don't turn up anymore because they want to be pushed and challenged a little bit, and they're just getting a very sort of basic form of stock comedy in this case. Do you think that they might look at their ticket sales, go, they're going down, and then they come to find this report, and this is what's going to help them?
So I think that's really what we're trying to say about that it's a new boycott crisis, because it really is affecting the bottom line. And we're quite hopeful that music festivals and comedy are going to be the areas that are going to fight back first, because it's destroying businesses.
All right, well, good luck. I hope so. I particularly want to save this medium that I love of stand-up comedy, and I hope your report helps to do so. Big round of applause, please, to Rosie and Mark Tuggan. That is the end of the first hour of Free Speech Nation. Don't go away, there's lots more to come between now and 9 o'clock, including the choir that we talked about just a few moments ago. See you in a few minutes.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Over the next 24 hours or so, we'll see an increasing risk of some showers, particularly across the north and the east. Some of these will be heavy at times. Looking at the bigger picture, high pressure generally is in charge of our weather at the moment, so showers will be slow moving, hardly an isobar on the chart indicating light winds. For the rest of today, variable cloud across England and Wales overnight, 1 or 2 light showers possible, but most places dry with clear spells. A few showers for Northern Ireland, northern and western parts of Scotland too. Under the clearest skies, temperatures may drop down to around 5 or 6 degrees. In the countryside, a little lower than this as well. So it's a mixed start to Monday morning. Fairly cloudy skies, showers across northern and western parts of Scotland from the word go. These continuing through Monday morning, 1 or 2 of them on the heavy side. Some sunny spells though down towards the borders, and across Northern Ireland some sunny spells, but also a scattering of light showers. Some mist and fog patches first thing across the rest of England and Wales. Some low cloud in places too, but largely dry with some hazy spells of sunshine, and it will stay sunny through much of the morning across England and Wales. Showers continue for Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland, and then into the afternoon the shower clouds also bubble up across central and eastern parts of England. Some of these showers could be heavy and perhaps even thundery across northeast England, southeast Scotland into the afternoon. Temperatures here 14, 15 degrees. In the best of the sunshine, further south and west reaching around 20 or 21 degrees. A cooler and cloudier picture is likely on Tuesday, turning quite breezy across southern parts of England. Some showery outbreaks of light rain in places. Best of the sunshine across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and temperatures a little lower than recent days. But that sunshine returning through Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures rising as well.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition, from 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
There's plenty more still to come on Free Speech Nation this week. Why are Jews afraid? That's the question posed by a recent BBC Panorama documentary, and I'll be giving you the answer, except it's going to be the truth. Also, a church in Essex is challenging a legal notice over its street preaching. But first, we're going to get a news update from Aaron Armstrong.
Thank you, Josh. 8 o'clock is the time here in the GB newsroom. Our headlines. The Trump administration has called for an end to political violence after a gunman fired shots at an event in Washington, D.C. last night. The U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche says the U.S. president and his officials were the likely targets at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now, the suspect, who was armed with a shotgun, a handgun and several knives, was apprehended by Secret Service agents before he entered the ballroom. He has been named as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, a teacher from California who is due in court tomorrow. And Mr. Trump says the alleged gunman was a sick guy who had written an anti-Christian manifesto. Law enforcement agencies, though, say they are still looking for a motive for the attack. John Christopher Buer, the White House correspondent for Real Political News, was at the event when the incident unfolded.
It was shocking, frightening, and it seemed like an earthquake had happened, the way the bodies were moving through the room, and it was shaking, and I didn't hear the gunshots per se, but what I did hear and feel was this monumental movement and rumbling, and I've never felt anything like that, and I've been through some pretty frightening events in my time.
Buckingham Palace has confirmed the King's 4-day state visit to the US will proceed as planned tomorrow. The decision follows discussions on both sides of the Atlantic. The King and Queen are scheduled to meet Donald Trump at the White House. Charles says he's relieved the President, the First Lady and all guests were unharmed. Well, the Prime Minister's extended his best wishes to Donald Trump following the shooting in Washington. Sir Keir Starmer, though, meanwhile, is being accused of breaking the ministerial code by failing to declare a meeting with a client of Lord Mandelson's lobbying firm. It's understood he could face a vote in the House of Commons over whether he misled Parliament in relation to Mandelson's vetting process before he was appointed ambassador to the US. The Conservatives have said that Sir Keir's leadership is laughable. Detectives in Northern Ireland say they believe the new IRA was involved in a car explosion outside a police station on the outskirts of Belfast. Officers say a gas cylinder was placed in the boot of a hijacked car, with a delivery driver ordered to abandon it outside the police station in Dunmurry. Residents, including 2 babies, were evacuated from nearby properties. Police say it shows that murderous intent and capability still exists within paramilitaries in Northern Ireland.
Police personnel immediately, and I have to say extremely courageously, literally running into danger, placing themselves in harm's way, evacuated nearby homes in order to protect the community. A number of residents, including 2 babies, were being taken into safety by officers when the device exploded, engulfing the vehicle in flames and sending debris in all directions.
And sporting history was made at the London Marathon earlier. Kenya's Sebastian Sawe became the first athlete to run a sub-2-hour time. In a competitive race, he clocked 1 hour 59:30, a new world record. In the women's race, Tigista Assefa defended her women's title with a new world record. That was 2 hours, 15 minutes and 41 seconds. More than 59,000 runners took part. Organisers say they might consider running it over 2 days in the coming years. And those are your headlines. Now it is back over to Josh and Free Speech Nation.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Why British Jews Are Afraid. That was the subtitle of a BBC Panorama documentary that went out earlier this week about anti-Semitism. Why British Jews Are Afraid. And it brought to mind one of my favourite passages in the Torah. It's Exodus. 1 second. No, it's not. No. No. Okay, so, I mean, come on, why are British Jews afraid? Because people are constantly trying to kill us. They've succeeded. And they're kidnapping and they're torturing us and they're blowing up ambulances and they're attacking us in the street and firebombing our places of worship and continually plotting to murder more of us. So yes, we're afraid. And we're also angry and frustrated and exhausted, and we're angry again. And this documentary doesn't deal with any of that. It doesn't show how our community has been betrayed by cowardly politicians with the emptiest of rhetoric, by a complicit captured justice system, by most of all our legacy media, including this documentary itself, because they have all failed to do their jobs, they refuse to acknowledge the truth, and they refuse to acknowledge their own complicity. So what are the reasons the BBC give for the increase in Jew hate? Well, fair enough, they get into the weekly pro-Palestinian marches. Of course, being the BBC, they can't but help mention the marches include Jews, with 2 separate shots of banners to make the point. Real journalism would have got in there and exposed these cranks for what they are: fake Jews, pretend Jews, tenuous Jews, and a handful of self-hating Jews, all there to legitimise that it's OK to hate the rest of us. I've debated these nutters. Most of their claims of being Jewish fall away quicker than a Chippendale's G-string. And at least 2 of the contributors get to make the obvious point that, for most marchers, criticism of Israel is merely a cover to be anti-Semitic? Well, of course. A missed opportunity, though, to point out how anti-Zionism is in itself a unique form of Jew hate, the latest incarnation with its own rules and manifestations. And there's also a larger debate to be had about hate speech and free speech and the right to protest. But it's only Jonathan Hall Casey who gets closest to calling out what's really going on when he says that hatred in the public sphere towards Jews has made them more acceptable as a target for terrorism. Surely he's not solely referring to the hate marches, is he? I mean, come on, BBC, help us out. Who else is out there spreading hate about Jews in the public sphere? Oh, yeah, of course, the online far right. Silly me, thanks, BBC. Now, don't get me wrong, I hate the far right. I was engaged on the periphery of the vile anti-Semitic abuse Lord Finkelstein talks about in the documentary, and a thicker, more malicious bunch of morons you'd never want to meet. But am I afraid of them? I'm afraid of what they could turn into. I'm afraid of how the online far right and the totally unmentioned far left feed off one another. However, it's not tropes that led to the violent kidnapping of Itai Kashti. As the judge concluded during sentencing, the three attackers were motivated by racial and religious hostility. Tell us more, BBC. Oh, you just want to skip totally over that. Let's just ignore what they were followers of Islam. In fact, the closest mention of Islam is when the presenter says Islamophobia, which, of course, whenever anyone raises the racist targeting of Jews is compulsory. So what is it, then, that links the three men and teenager arrested for setting fire to the ambulances? What about the father and son who carried out a mass shooting, murdering 15 people at Bondi Beach during a Hanukkah party? Or the three men jailed in February for planning a mass shooting of Jews in the UK? Or the 7 men arrested this week for planning more attacks on British Jews? What belief system connects them all? Sorry. That's how angry I am. And I've got a cold. The BBC miraculously managed to make a documentary about anti-Semitism in the UK without mentioning Islam. It's like they made a biopic of the life of Stan Laurel without mentioning Oliver Hardy. I actually think I know what's going on here. I think that's God very upset about that joke about the Torah. I think he's getting back at me. Look, when 2 Jews were murdered last October, what did the Muslim attacker scream? This is for killing babies. And what a coincidence that only months before, the BBC broadcast to the world the lie that over the next 48 hours, the Jewish state would be responsible for killing 14,000 babies. Not one baby starved, yet still the lie remains on the BBC website. Hamas documentaries, deaf to the IDF chants, false reports of Israel blowing up hospitals. If the BBC wanted to make a real documentary about why Jews are afraid, they already own most of the copyright. So, what are Jews afraid of, BBC? Well, we're afraid of you. We're afraid of the lies you've pumped out for years. We're afraid of how those who hate Jews lap up those lies and use them to justify their violence. We're afraid of a problem that is going to get worse because you can't even name it. We're afraid of Islam. Right, well, let's get the take of former BBC producer John Mayer. John, did you see the documentary this week?
I did. I actually thought it was very fair and reasonable, and it had a Jewish reporter.
It did have a Jewish reporter, but what it didn't do is report on the huge amount of hatred that is directed at Jews from the Muslim community.
No, well, look, I mean, you kept banging on about it wasn't reporting Islam. It was actually about Judaism. It wasn't about Islam. It was about Jews and their fears. And I think they did
who's
it very,
attacking
very...
Jews? Who's killing Jews? Is the
well,
point?
Lots of people all over the world. But I mean, it didn't talk about Hitler. Should it have talked about Hitler? Should it have talked about Hitler? You know, rant on about Muslims. But this, I thought it was very fair. It put a point of view about Jews that was quite reasonable.
OK, well, you might feel that. I feel that they very much covered up even their own complicities. Do you think that the BBC has anything to answer for? They have spread many, many lies about Jews and Israel over the last few years.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I mean, whatever you and Danny Cohen say, I don't think the BBC is anti-Semitic.
Well, you might not think so, but if we look at the facts, what do you think about this lie that 14,000 babies were going to die in 48 hours?
I didn't see that lie. The BBC reported fairly on Gaza as much as it could. Remember, they weren't allowed into Gaza. Now that is pretty
because
disgusting.
They didn't want journalists to be killed in there. But what about the other lies? What about saying that there was a hospital that was bombed?
Well, that's not the reason. The reason wasn't because they didn't want journalists to be killed, because they did kill journalists in Gaza. Israel did.
Well, they also killed people who pretended that they were journalists, and there were unfortunately people who died as well. What do you think about the documentary the BBC made, which pretended to be impartial, but really was made with Hamas help?
And the BBC apologised about that, didn't they? And they pulled it in the end. That was a stupid mistake. You know, and I know that was a stupid mistake. And what about the documentary the BBC didn't show about medical staff being targeted? Look, I mean, you know, Gaza was a pretty horrific thing. So, and the fact that the BBC wasn't allowed to report on it, I think, is pretty disgusting. If I'd been in charge of them, I would have said, we don't report anything from Israel then, if they won't let us in there.
OK, well, I would just like to make the final point, John, if I may, that the lies about Jews started before Gaza. There was a story about Jewish children who were verbally assaulted on Oxford Street, and the BBC said that the Jewish kids had made disparaging remarks about Muslims. That was proven to be totally false.
And the BBC apologised. It was the top floor of a bus, wasn't it?
Well, they had to be dragged kicking and screaming, is the point.
No, you know, look, if you make a mistake, you apologise. But by and large, I think the BBC is very fair. I mean, it's fair to Jews, it's fair to Muslims. It's a very difficult line, you know, so don't attack it. It's the fairest broadcaster you've got.
Well, we'll have to just disagree to disagree. But thank you very much for joining us. Former BBC producer John Mayer. Appreciate you coming on the show, John. Joining me now is the broadcaster Jonathan Sacerdote. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, you can applaud him. By the way, sorry about my coughing fit there. What do you think, certainly with what John was saying there, do you agree with him that the BBC's fair?
For me, the problem with the BBC is one that reflects perhaps a problem in more of the country at large, and in that case it's chicken and egg. Who comes first? Does the BBC influence the nation, or is it reflecting attitudes of the nation? And I would say that the BBC in that documentary does what it does so often, which is present a very simplified sort of children's book version of a real social problem. I found the documentary fairly typical of its genre, the BBC documentary. You know, this kind of very slow, plodding, eerie music, earnest-voiced Jews in Britain are feeling depressed. And I think that, you know, it's not really worthy of a national broadcaster with the resources it has and the brains it has working there. They could have done a really good deep dive, as you said, into why Jewish people are so endangered and at threat in Great Britain today. And as you've pointed out, I think that to do so would inevitably at least bring up a conversation of the BBC's own part, because the BBC has played a part in that, partly through how it treats Jews, as you said, when Jewish children were abused verbally and had things thrown at them on Oxford Street one Hanukkah, the BBC decided to report that they had uttered anti-Muslim slurs, something that they just couldn't substantiate, and after various Jewish community bodies really dragged it out of them, they were forced to apologise on that. But they've also repeatedly got things wrong, I would say lied, during the last 2-3 years since the Palestinian invasion of southern Israel, in which 1,200 Jews were killed and many more injured, kidnapped, etc. We know all about that, and the BBC's bias on that stuff, I think, is part of a wider problem, international problem, where many people, especially towards the left, like the BBC, which is basically a left-wing skewed news station, I think many people on the left have completely inverted the story of Israel. And so while they will say that anti-Semitism or Jew hatred in Britain has risen because of what's going on in Israel, that is really gloss over what's actually happened. There's been a complete inversion of the wars Israel is fighting. As I said, Israel was invaded on that day, October the 7th, and so it took action and a war ensued, which was brutal and horrible for everyone involved. But the BBC chooses to portray wars like that and Israel's military actions in such a way that so many people in society then come out with these words like genocide and apartheid. They accuse Israel of disproportionality, and the BBC has the ability to contextualise all of those things, to explain what genocide really means in legal terms, to explain what apartheid really means under the Genocide Convention and such like. It doesn't do any of that. Instead, it makes documentaries using Hamas junior ministers' children and doesn't tell the audience. And even that it's forced to apologise for. Or it gets things wrong in its reporting, where it says that Israeli military went into a hospital in Gaza during the war and targeted Arabic speakers and medics, when actually they brought in Arabic speakers and medics to try and help people in the hospital, which was being used by Palestinian terrorists as a terror base. It's constant. What they do is constant. I think it can't be accidental. There's a certain amount of groupthink within an organisation like that. But there's also a certain amount of malice, in my opinion. I don't think we can give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. And that documentary, while it was a nice gesture that they decided after all this time to try and make a piece about Jewish people and what we're going through, it really is too little too late. So many Jews I know, I mean, it will be the same for you. When we gather at Jewish events, when we gather at our Friday night dinners, when we gather to mark Yom HaAtzmaut last week, or before that Yom HaShoah in memory of the Holocaust, the conversation inevitably turns now to, have we got plans for where we can go when things get bad? What the trigger will be for us to think things have got too bad? Will it be Israel? Will it be America? Will it be somewhere else we might have the ability to flee? Those sorts of conversations are utterly depressing for a population, all of us, living under the long shadow of the Holocaust, when we all know people from our own families who didn't manage to escape in time. These aren't arbitrary things, and I'm not asking for people to feel sorry for Jews. I'm not asking for them to consider us victims and to cry over us. I'm simply saying that this happening is a very real thing. And, you know, Zach Polanski of the Green Party might say it's our perception of danger. Well, it's a very real perception. There's a very real reason for it. And this country has really got a problem. And as you pointed out in your monologue, a great deal of this does come from Islamic belief and increasing influence of Islam in Great Britain. And again, unless we're able to confront that, unless the BBC, the government, the police, everyone is able to confront that, then we're not going to be able to talk about it and work out how we can stop that being a problem for Jews and for the rest of the great British population. Because this really isn't just about Jews. All the same things that are going to make our lives difficult and are making our lives difficult are going to do the same for other people as well, especially when it comes to the extreme parts of Islam. Non-Muslims generally will suffer from the same prejudices and violence that come from those quarters.
Their expression of it. Did you think that things would get this bad this quickly? I mean, it just felt pretty much like last week was every other day was another incident, another video emerges, another plot is foiled. It's sort of, when you're in it, you kind of, it's hard to even really believe it. It sort of seems like it's not real.
I think I did expect it, sadly, because, you know, I've spent a large part of my career writing and broadcasting and talking about and debating these exact issues. For me, it was always something I thought about quite keenly and carefully, because I suppose my father was a Holocaust survivor and I was acutely aware of his story. And, you know, many Jews have fathers, grandfathers or the like who have stories from the Holocaust of their survival or otherwise. For me, it was always on the horizon, and yet I agree, in recent years it's sped up so much. And I mean, again, just to remind people watching, because it's easy to forget with the speed of news cycles these days, you know, the number of arson attacks on synagogues in the last few weeks in this country, in this city. The Yom Kippur attack, where a guy rammed into and killed in a synagogue in Manchester. We've seen Jewish charity with an arson attack, or a building that used to belong to a Jewish charity in the last few weeks. We've seen Jews who are afraid to go for NHS treatment because of overt expressions of anti-Jewishness in hospitals in the NHS. It spreads across everywhere. I know people who've had to withdraw their children from schools because anti-Semitism, Jew hatred within their schools was so serious and so bad, and the schools didn't do anything suitable about it. The list really goes on, and I think that when we also have a national broadcaster that seems to indulge as well, or at the very least tolerate it, and when it does deign to make a documentary about how Jews are suffering in this country, it doesn't really do a proper job of tackling the issue. I think all of those things answer the question that you asked at the beginning of this segment, why are Jews afraid? Jews are afraid because there's a lot to be afraid of. And I think many British people who aren't Jewish are also afraid of the exact same threat that is making life difficult for us Jews.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to speak the truth on Free Speech Nation. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan Sachadoty. A BBC spokesperson said anti-Semitism is abhorrent and there is no place for it in the BBC on all our platforms. Next on Free Speech Nation, my panel of comedians is going to be answering some more audience questions. See you in 2 minutes.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Dubes & Co. Weekdays from 6 p.m.
I was thinking about this all day today. I think the problem is NIMBYism. Now, normally I say that when we're talking about housing. So it's people who say, oh, yeah, obviously people need to live in houses, but I don't want them in my community.
Yeah.
And here the issue is, yes, I do think it is quite disruptive for a community if a group of travellers come and set up an unauthorised site. But the important context is there aren't any authorised sites for them to use. So if we had a system whereby the central government says, we're going to invest in all of these authorised sites around the country, then if you've got people who are going, you know, and parking on someone else's land and making a mess, sure, clamp down on them. But until they've got somewhere else to go, what's the point? Because you're clamping down on them there, and they drive down the road and go on someone else's bit of land. So the problem is only solved if you give people a permanent place to camp up, or if they want to keep moving, you have a few of them. You know, there's a traveller site down the road from me in Hackney, and it's fine, but that's because it's authorised.
You see, I was surprised to read. I would have thought the numbers of travellers would have been going down. I think of it as being, and again, this is terribly uninformed of me and it's sort of a stereotype, but I thought they were of a different time. But it turns out that in the last 10 years, travellers in this country have gone up by 25%.
Now, one of the issues is, I know the point about NIMBYism, but I also think that a lot of people feel like things are just not fair, that people are bunking the tube trains, people are like fly tipping everywhere, they should have some sense of pride in Britain, that people come along, they don't pay anything, no rent, no, look, millions are on benefits, now you have to earn 75 grand each to just get the same amount as if you got 3 kids on benefits in Britain, 5 million at least. And I don't want citizens to be pitted against each other. If we had more of a sense of who we were and believing in a nation and our civic pride and our communities and a sense of networks, I don't think these things would take such a big impact on us.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. My comedian guests again are Aidan McQueen and Cresta Wetton. Let's give them another round of applause. We love them. We're going to get our first question from Jeff.
Hi, Josh. Do anti-racists create racism?
Do anti-racists create racism? Yes. So, acting US Attorney General Todd Blanche on Tuesday announced an indictment against the Southern Poverty Law Centre, which alleged that the civil rights organisation has engaged in financial crimes. Blanche said at a news conference that the Justice Department's investigation found that the organisation has been manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. That's a little bit confusing. We're going to get into that. And then they conceal those payments. So that seems to be the gist of it, Cresta. You've got this anti-racist organisation, and they're paying people to be racist to justify their jobs.
It's so naughty, isn't it? I mean, at best...
Naughty's one word.
At best, they might argue that they are paying their informants to inform on what's going on, but I don't think that's what's going on here.
But they were paying for people to go to marches and actually those people wouldn't have been there if it hadn't been for the dosh that they got from this organisation.
It's like the worst divorce, possibly Jewish divorce lawyer would kind of stoke up ill feeling amongst couples to get more money out of them.
What are you talking about? Don't make me write a monologue about you. My throat can't take it.
After all the Irish anti-Semitic stuff, I had to
bring
do
it
something.
out yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose every campaign gets to the point where there's a justified and hugely justified cause, and then progress is made and made and made, and then so much progress is made, but in the interim time, you have all these people with jobs, all these people whose pure sole cause is this cause, and then they have to justify continuing their jobs. So I'm sure people do stoke things up. I'm sure in every campaign you could get this, and it's not good.
Well, if anybody has a free speech issue, or doesn't, I'll pay you £5 to come on.
I don't think it's necessarily the case in all organisations. I think they're wrong uns, and I think they've run out of dragons to fight, as you said, and they need more. And well, we'll see, won't we? Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I looked at their Wikipedia page earlier. This is not their first rodeo of falling out with people, so we will see.
Let's find out. Well, look, our next question is from Ghislaine, is that?
Yeah, Ghislaine.
Yes. Ghislaine, sorry, Ghislaine. You'd think I'd know how to pronounce that after the last couple of years.
Dr. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is that who you're named after?
It's both an insult and a compliment, though, because it means she's very young.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Is ice hockey above the law?
Is ice hockey above the law? Thank you. Well, England Ice Hockey has refused to stop a transgender player circumventing a ban on those born male playing in the female game. EIH has also refused repeated calls to take action over the result of a fixture in which a hat-trick of goals scored by the player helped a team avoid defeat in the match. Those born male were banned from female ice hockey from the start of this season, shortly before the Supreme Court ruling that only those born female were women under the 2010 Equality Act. So this is... It's like they've followed through. They've gone, yes, OK, women are women. And then they're just not seeing it through. And teams are benefiting for having men on their side, cheating.
I think it's just because there's so few people playing ice hockey in the UK anyway. They're just like, anyone can play. A dog with a stick could play. But I do think it's wrong. I've personal experience in this. I played camogie, which is Irish kind of hockey. Okay. And there was a trans person on the team. This was about 10 years ago. We didn't know what to do. And she would have said that, well, the hormones have made me weaker. But this person was very strong, and marking them was really, really difficult. So even though the hormones do weaken these people, that were women that are trans women, it still doesn't mean that they're the same as people like me,
men who've been through biological puberty, right?
100%. I mean,
ice hockey is a very physical game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, at least it's just 18 stone of person on ice skates coming. I don't know what they weigh, but I mean, it's just horrific, isn't it? I'm laughing because I don't know what else to think at this point. It's just absolutely outrageous. And it's so arrogant, isn't it? Like, we've had the ruling, but we know better, and your safety doesn't matter. Or you're winning a hockey match either. I mean, as you say, it's had this enormous impact. Because typically we hear, it doesn't make any difference, I've taken hormones, so what?
Makes a big
difference. They've completely changed the result of the match. Was it 3, what do you score, points, goals sticks? I don't know what you get. It's sport, I can't see it.
And next presenter of Soccer AM.
I would be perfect for football.
The ice hockey Netflixing just for the gay stuff. Our final question is from Vahid.
Hi, Josh. Should landlords be allowed to discriminate?
Should landlords be allowed to discriminate? So straight men, Zionists and people with right-wing or gender-critical beliefs have been blocked from housing, which is why I'm homeless. Direct contravention of equality laws. A number of rental property listings have been revealed by the Telegraph to exclude certain groups carrying phrases such as no men, no straight males, under the guise of looking to form inclusive house shares. Other adverts say TERFs, swerve Zionists, need not apply, and Zionists, pro-Israelis, please look elsewhere. So this is essentially no Irish people, no black people. This is the updated version of that.
Of course it is.
It's incredibly racist.
It's incredibly racist, it's bigoted, it's all the things they think they'll get if they let a straight white man in. It's also hilarious because I would love to see your average straight white bloke walk into one of these. I mean, we know what it's going to be like. It's going to be covered in flags and lentils, and no one's going to want to live there anyway, so the whole thing's completely pointless. They've just got themselves in trouble. And we can use it as a filtering system. So if you want to go and live somewhere, don't apply for that house, obviously. We Which, by the way, is what people would have done historically, right? You would have just looked at these 10 people that have applied for the room and gone, oh, that one. But we can't do that anymore. They've got to declare their politics to the world, and of course, it's illegal.
And it's discrimination.
It is discrimination, but it's a bit misleading because it's not the landlords doing the discrimination, it's people on Gumtree. And I think discrimination is bad, but being a flatmate is like being in a relationship. You want to find the right fit for you. So if I see somebody that says no Irish, I'm like, they seem like a good crowd, I'm going to go in there, you know? They've got their heads screwed on.
Would you change your accent?
Hello, darling, how are you? Yeah, there was
I like Jewish people.
My uncle in the 60s was in England. It was all no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, but there was one place that said Irish welcome, and they went there, and the first night they had a massive hoolie and a house party, and they were thought, oh no, this is awful, we're letting the side down. And the landlady gave them an apple tart, and they think, what's going on here? She's English. And they did it again, and they were, I'm so sorry, she gave them another apple tart. She actually deliberately got Irish people in because she wanted to get tenants on the ground floor out who were on fixed rent. And she knew they'd cause maximum chaos. So that story is really bad, but really good.
Well, I just want to say, Zionists, we really behave ourselves. Well, thank you very much. Next on Free Speech Nation, a disability charity has reinstated a choir it banned from the London Marathon amidst a frenzy over members' gender-critical views. But is that enough? See you in 2 minutes.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean All Clear Skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello there. Plenty of sunshine across central parts of the Mediterranean. A little cloudy across parts of the Canaries over the next few days. Perhaps even 1 or 2 showers in places. Breezy across Madeira as well. Plenty of sunshine in Spain and Portugal. Just 1 or 2 showers across the north. Warm sunshine across much of Italy into Greece, though 1 or 2 showers are possible. And generally light winds as well. Temperatures a little above average and staying sunny over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Over the next 24 hours or so, we'll see an increasing risk of some showers, particularly across the north and the east. Some of these will be heavy at times. Looking at the bigger picture, high pressure generally is in charge of our weather at the moment, so showers will be slow moving, hardly an isobar on the chart indicating light winds. For the rest of today, variable cloud across England and Wales overnight, 1 or 2 light showers possible, but most places dry with clear spells. A few showers for Northern Ireland, northern and western parts of Scotland too. Under the clearest skies, temperatures may drop down to around 5 or 6 degrees. In the countryside, a little lower than this as well. So it's a mixed start to Monday morning. Fairly cloudy skies, showers across northern and western parts of Scotland from the word go. These continuing through Monday morning, 1 or 2 of them on the heavy side. Some sunny spells though down towards the borders and across Northern Ireland, some sunny spells but also a scattering of light showers. Some mist and fog patches first thing across the rest of England and Wales. Some low cloud in places too, but largely dry with some hazy spells of sunshine, and it will stay sunny through much of the morning across England and Wales. Showers continue for Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland, and then into the afternoon the shower clouds also bubble up across central and eastern parts of England. Some of these showers could be heavy and perhaps even thundery across northeast England, southeast Scotland into the afternoon. Temperatures here 14, 15 degrees in the best of the sunshine, further south and west reaching around 20 or 21 degrees. A cooler and cloudier picture is likely on Tuesday, turning quite breezy across southern parts of England. Some showery outbreaks of light rain in places. Best of the sunshine across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and temperatures a little lower than recent days. But that sunshine returning through Wednesday and Thursday and temperatures rising as well.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howie. A disability charity has reinstated a choir it banned from the London Marathon amidst a frenzy over a member's gender-critical views. Last Thursday, Scope dropped the group called the Singing Striders from representing it in today's race because its founder, Janet Murray, is critical of gender ideology. However, the group was soon reinstated on Saturday after admitting Ms Murray's views were protected by the Equality Act. Here they are earlier today. Making lots of people happy there. Joining me now is the journalist and founder of the Singing Striders, Janet Murray, and members of the choir. Janet, what are you doing here again? I thought we'd have a little break from you.
I just travel, aren't I?
Yeah, you are, obviously.
I know, I messaged you earlier in the week and said, look...
this thing's happened.
Something's happened, and I know I've been on lots of times. This is big.
This is a big one, though. I mean, when I heard about this story, when you told me, I was just like, this feels very 5 years ago. Like these organisations aren't aware of the Maya Forstater ruling, and to just ban you because you think that men can't be women.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what happened? Explain what this is, by the way. This is you get invited and you sing and it helps people run.
So I run a choir, which is a bit quirky, which is we specialise in performing at running events. So we've performed at the London Marathon quite a few times, the London Landmarks a few weeks ago, and all over the country. And we really are just about bringing the fun, bringing the support. I'm a runner as well. I've run 5 marathons, so I know what it's like to be out there and struggling.
You're just doing this so you don't have to run a marathon again.
Yeah, exactly. So I know what it's like to be out there, to be struggling, and you round a corner and you hear music and singing and how much it can motivate you. So I just had this idea of why don't we sing at running events? We've been doing it very successfully for a few years, and a few years ago we were approached by the charity Scope and said, would you like to be our cheer squad? So come along to, they have their kind of spots where they're cheering on their runners and come along and sing. And we said, yes, that would be great. We've done it for 2 years and they seem to be really happy with us and what we've done. We just turn up and sing and have fun. No politics.
Nothing to do with any of these issues that
whatsoever. I've been having a bit of a time of it with my own cancellation over the last few years for sharing these beliefs, but I've never discussed it with the choir.
Sharing these facts.
These facts, I should say, yes. Never discussed it with them. We just get on with doing the music. I don't want to bring that into that at all. So we were invited again. We got a lovely email in February saying, would you like to come back and sing again this year? So we just said, yes, that would be lovely. And then on Tuesday, the email was sent on Tuesday. I opened it on the Wednesday, got an email saying that they no longer wished us to perform. And it said something about equality and discrimination, and I thought, OK, here we go. So I took some advice, and I realised straight away that what they were doing was not in line with the Equality Act, and it was discrimination. So initially I sent a letter to the CEO pointing this out and asking that they reverse the decision. I didn't tell the choir at first because I was quite confident that as soon as they consulted their lawyers, they would realise and that they would reinstate us. But no, they didn't,
Well, this is it. So I think, because I should point out, we've got some other guests here who also might think that men can't be women. Sarah, you're not part of the original choir. And that's, I think, the saddest thing for me is that when this all happened, all the original people just sort of it worked because they were intimidated, feeling threatened that they couldn't just sing these songs that have nothing to do with this position about gender critical beliefs.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why it's really sad, because singing in a choir, I did do the London Marathon last year, and it's actually a really joyful event. You know, the runners actually clap you, and everyone's having a really good time. It's a completely inclusive thing to do, be in a choir, because, you know, for the choirs that we were both in, there's no auditions or anything. Anyone can join.
Basically, you're all rubbish.
Well, we don't have to be perfect.
That's my kind of choir. That's the only one that I think I would get into. But isn't that it's such a positive thing, and it's such a shame that it's tainted by this this putting in this ideology, their own ideology, onto it, rather than just allowing people to have their thoughts and still bring pleasure to the world.
Yeah, exactly, because, you know, it's just completely irrelevant to the matter at hand. Nobody's there talking about these things. The views we have are legally protected, and it's a shame that people still can't feel that they can come and sing in public, even because they've been associated with someone that has these views, let alone having them themselves.
Yeah, well, so Janet, so they backed off eventually, didn't they? They changed their mind once you got the Free Speech Union involved. And
yeah, so eventually I had a conversation on the phone with the CEO, and he said that my presence would be a distraction, and I kept asking him how I would be a distraction. What did they think I was going to do? Shout something out, hold up a banner, and
that's a man!
yeah, you know, obviously
shout out to Kelly J. Keane.
We've been doing it for 2 years, but, you know, they'd had no trouble with us. We'd just come and sang and, you know, encouraged the runners. And the worst thing is that they were discriminating against me, but these people in the choir had not expressed any views at all. They hadn't said or done anything, you know, for them to deserve this, and they feel very upset because they feel as if they've been targeted as well, and that they've been discriminated.
They have been.
They have been, and so you know, I took legal advice. I've been supported by a law firm that works with the Free Speech Union, and they've been brilliant. Worked all over the weekend to you know, try and move things on, and they reversed the decision. We were allowed to go back, but we were, you know, the invite was reopened, but we didn't.
Well, it sounds like that people didn't then feel safe to do so. But you stepped up. You said, you know, because I think Janet put out the call and said, look, does anybody want to come along? And what inspired you to go along today then?
Yeah, so I saw Janet's tweet last night, and I thought, you know, I'd been following what had happened with her being cancelled by Scope, and I just thought, this is outrageous, and I want to help her, because I've been cancelled for holding gender-critical views. So I contacted her, and I said, I'm not very good at singing, but I'd love to come and support you, so I went.
She's very good.
And we all had a fabulous time, and, you know, it's really unbelievable that organisations like Scope are still doing this. We've had so many legal cases now, you know, defending that gender-critical views are legally protected, and yet we still get this. So it's time that these ridiculous cancellations ended.
Absolutely. Well, let's just hope that this was a big enough stink was raised so that any other organisations who think of doing a cancellation like this think twice. In the meantime, well done for going out there and still giving joy to the world. That's exactly the right way to deal with these things. Thank you so much for joining us. Janet, I would like to not see you for a couple of weeks now, if that's all right. No more singing for you. Right, Scope's Chief Executive, John McLachlan, said in a statement given to the BBC late on Saturday, on reflection, we would like to restore our invitation to the choir to attend the marathon and perform for runners if they choose to do so. We accept that the choir as a group does not promote a specific viewpoint and that the performance in itself doesn't undermine our values. This decision has been made without prejudice and reflects our appreciation of the right of individuals to hold protected beliefs under the Equality Act 2010. Janet, do you have anything planned that I need to know about just to clear my schedule over the next... You're not doing like a sponsored swim or something?
No, I'm going to try and keep myself out of trouble for a few weeks, yeah.
All right, good. All right, well, next on Free Speech Nation, the Bread of Life Community Church in Essex has been issued with a legal notice over its street preaching. Is this tackling an inconvenience or is this an assault on free speech? See you in 2 minutes.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Well,
that's what, we are talking toilets on the back of the space stuff, of course, because they had a £26 million toilet.
They did have that little issue. Well, it's not a little issue, is it? If you're in space and you can't use your facilities. The thing is, would you use the facilities on a space rocket? Is the question really?
Well, because you'd have to.
For 9 days. Well, you would have to. But I would think you would have to use the facilities wherever you are. But apparently, most people avoid using facilities. If they're on a train, they wait until they get off the train. If they're in an airplane, they don't like to use an I mean, nobody likes an airplane toilet. I don't really understand this. I don't really understand that.
I'll wait.
Yeah, it's not good for you, you know. It's not good for you. But most people, apparently, according to this piece in the Daily Mail today, 47% of people won't use train toilets. 32% won't even use a toilet in a restaurant. And yeah, they just. I've known women actually who've had new boyfriends leave their house and go to the pub down the road to use the toilet when they first start going out. This to me is madness. I've never been that obsessed one way or another. You know what you have to do if you don't like the toilet facility. Wash your hands properly, and you can go anywhere. You doesn't really.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I've never used a train toilet in my entire life. I don't plan on doing it. Why would? Look, you say it's not good for you to hold. I'll tell you what else is not good for you. Getting in there where those new diseases are building. You wash your hands, but it's not as though your hands are the only things that touch all of it. You'd have to have a full shower after using one of those.
You can hover.
You might be able to hover, not with my thighs.
Look at this. All I would say is the train toilets now tend to have automatic, those...
They do.
And I was once using on the train, and the door just opened.
It never...
I knew I recognised you from somewhere.
You didn't press the button to lock.
I didn't know you had to press a button to lock.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. Now we have an astonishing story to finish on. The Bread of Life Community Church in Essex has been issued with a legal notice over their street preaching. The Community Protection Notice restricts the church's use of amplification during weekly preaching and could lead to a prosecution of its pastor and members if they continue. But they're now fighting back, challenging the legal notice, arguing it is unlawful and should be overturned. Joining me now is the pastor, Stephen Claydon. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you, Josh. Great to be here.
There's an argument about amplification. That's one part of it. But I believe that this becomes a free speech issue when they are raising concerns about the content with you, right?
Absolutely, yes. What was initially told is that we're breaching a PSPO, a Public Space Protection Order, which states that no amplification is allowed in the town centre. It clearly states no such thing. The PSPO in question refers to things like urinating in public, antisocial behaviour, drunkenness, things like this. There's no ban on amplification in the town centre. So they've issued us this CPN, a Community Protection Notice, not just stating that the amplification is the problem, but also the content, the actual message itself that we're preaching. This is what they're actually going after. And we know that any so-called complaints about volume is not about the volume whatsoever. It's about the actual message itself that they've got a problem with.
So what sort of message? Because, look, I've seen street preachers and some of them are just sort of going, Jesus wants everyone to get along, and some of them are like, oh, you're going to go to hell. Look, that's not my judgment as to what it... Both of those are... But the point is they're legal. But what is upsetting people, then, about this message that you're spreading?
Well, we're there simply to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're there to simply tell them that God loves them, that Jesus died for their sins, he rose from the dead on the third day, and anyone who believes in him will have everlasting life. We're simply there to preach the basic gospel that the Bible teaches. with that, of course, there's obviously warnings about the consequences of rejecting that message, which the Bible speaks a lot about. And that, of course, you know, is eternal judgment, which we are being targeted for preaching. We're preaching this message that if you believe in Jesus Christ, you'll be saved, but if you reject him, there will be eternal consequences to face.
That's a strange contradiction here, because I imagine the people who are upset by what you're saying don't believe in Jesus. So they wouldn't necessarily believe they're going to go to hell.
This is
so
the
what's
problem.
the problem?
This is the problem, is that a lot of the people who don't like what we're doing, they're not believers, they don't believe in heaven, they don't believe in hell, yet they still get offended and have a problem when we speak about things like hell. And that, like you say, is a complete contradiction, because, you know, they claim they don't believe in hell, and yet they're offended by the mention of the word. So it clearly shows that there is something in them that does believe.
Now, are you part of a sort of pastor community? Because it seems from what I read about these issues is that there seems to be an escalation of this kind of councils and the police shutting down public preaching, particularly Christian public preaching.
Well, this is rather an unprecedented case, because it's the first time that a council is going after an established church. 9 times out of 10, the preaching that you'll see on the streets is from like groups of individuals who go out preaching the gospel together, and that's great. But it's the first time really that a church has been targeted, an established, recognised ministry. We're registered with the Charity Commission as well, and it's really the first time that a church is being targeted simply for going out preaching the message of the Bible. And like I say, it is more about the content itself rather than just the volume, because you see loud things in towns all the time, buskers, loud cars backfiring, all this kind of thing. People have to put up with lots of noise all the time, but they don't complain about it. They only complain about the preaching of the Bible.
So do you think that you'll prove the point by not using amplification and just preaching the message then?
Well, right now we are ceasing the amplification whilst this court case is going through. So we've been told we're not to use amplification, and we're also to cease using intimidating language, to quote the CPN. And until this court case is settled one way or another, we're simply preaching open air like they did probably in Old Testament times or New Testament times. But
I just call it Testament times.
Of course,
that's a joke. Well, look, good luck with it. Please keep us informed. Big round of applause, please, for Pastor Stephen. Thank you. Colchester City Council said it would not comment before the hearing. Well, thank you for joining us for Free Speech Nation. Thank you to my panel, Aidy McQueen and Cresta Wetton, and to all of my brilliant guests this evening, and of course my live studio audience. Thanks for coming in, guys. If you want to join us, please go to gbnews.com/tickets. No, I like a little applause there. Stay tuned for the brilliant Alex Armstrong tonight. That's next. And thank you for watching Free Speech Nation. Take care. But you can applaud that. Yeah.
Good stuff, Josh, good stuff. Yes, look, on my show tonight, bombshell illegal migrant story that you haven't heard anywhere else on the news today, because, of course, everything has been spoken about Donald Trump and that assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We will talk about the toxic rhetoric on the left on this show and whether or not they're the ones driving political violence, not just in America, but in Britain too. So bombshell stuff coming for you this evening on Alex Armstrong Tonight.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Over the next 24 hours or so, we'll see an increasing risk of some showers, particularly across the north and the east. Some of these will be heavy at times. Looking at the bigger picture, high pressure generally is in charge of our weather at the moment, so showers will be slow moving, hardly an isobar on the chart indicating light winds. For the rest of today, variable cloud across England and Wales overnight, 1 or 2 light showers possible, but most places dry with clear spells. A few showers for Northern Ireland, northern and western parts of Scotland too. Under the clearest skies, temperatures may drop down to around 5 or 6 degrees. In the countryside, a little lower than this as well. So it's a mixed start to Monday morning. Fairly cloudy skies, showers across northern and western parts of Scotland from the word go. These continuing through Monday morning, 1 or 2 of them on the heavy side. Some sunny spells though down towards the borders and across Northern Ireland, some sunny spells but also a scattering of light showers. Some mist and fog patches first thing across the rest of England and Wales. Some low cloud in places too, but largely dry with some hazy spells of sunshine, and it will stay sunny through much of the morning across England and Wales. Showers continue for Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland, and then into the afternoon the shower clouds also bubble up across central and eastern parts of England. Some of these showers could be heavy and perhaps even thundery across northeast England, southeast Scotland into the afternoon. Temperatures here 14, 15 degrees. In the best of the sunshine, further south and west reaching around 20 or 21 degrees. A cooler and cloudier picture is likely on Tuesday, turning quite breezy across southern parts of England. Some showery outbreaks of light rain in places. Best of the sunshine across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and temperatures a little lower than recent days. But that sunshine returning through Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures rising as well.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win our biggest prize of the year so far. You could be driving away with your very own 4-berth camper van. This Benny Van 122 could give you the perfect getaway this year. We'll also give you an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash. Lines close on the 1st of May, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
The GB News audience is different, it's unique, because they see through the nonsense.
We want to debate with each other, we want to listen and maybe learn.
We have a chat. That's what we do. We try and have a chat.
They'll watch my programme while they're eating their tea, they'll watch breakfast while they're busy getting their kids ready for school.
We want to hear what matters to you, what is news for you.
And what's brought you out here today?
What are the biggest issues affecting this particular area?
The audience are the best thing about GB News.
Their friends, their family. They're people who need to have their voices heard.
They're passionate about the channel, they're passionate about what they believe in.
The one thing about GB News is you get a chance to speak.
Talk to me about why so many people have gathered here today.
Do you want to say something back in return? The GB News audience is what makes GB News special.
It's incredible to see.
They shape our programmes, they shape our output, and they shape our channel.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good evening, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong. Tonight, a story you wouldn't have heard anywhere else today. The sickening case of a 14-year-old Iranian illegal migrant who raped a teenage girl and walked free. And...
because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement and working with the DC police.
Yeah, you constantly hear the cries of the dangerous far right, but why aren't we talking about the toxic rhetoric on the left that I think is leading to this surge in political violence?
There's interesting and interesting, Sir Ollie. I mean, there's interesting and Peter Mandelson's life and the threats that he may have had to the British state.
And with our government engulfed in yet more Starmer psychodrama, who actually is preparing the country for medicine and fuel shortages that might be on their way? Are we totally leaderless?
Will the Prime Minister do the right thing and vote in support of our veterans, not against them?
Yes, and the government's most senior veteran, the Armed Forces Minister Al Khans, will be absent from the Troubles Bill vote tomorrow, which Special Forces veterans have warned risks prolonging the disgraceful persecution of former soldiers.
Watch out, massive fatties, the Lard police are in town.
Yeah, they don't make TV like that anymore, do they? Well, it comes, of course, as a paramedic has been sacked after mocking an overweight patient by saying she likes eating chips, and more chips. Do we need to bring back shame, or is it completely cruel? We're going to be debating that very shortly.
I want to address this right now online. There's a certain story brewing that inside this costume is actually Harry Styles.
I don't really know what to say. Do you think he's under there? Let me know what you think. gbnews.com/yoursay. And joining me tonight, journalist and broadcaster Linda Jubilee, businessman and activist Adam Brooks, and Labour councillor Seb Salek. And if you think you've had a bad day, check out this clip of Mike Bushell on BBC Breakfast.
That's what you did.
Come on, Rossdale. Something like that. Come on, you Dale. No, not at all.
Oh, it's just so bad. It's just really awkward. We'll play the full clip later. It gets worse. Huge 2 hours coming up. But first, we're going to get your news with Aaron Armstrong.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening to you. It is 2 minutes past 9. Our headlines. Donald Trump and members of his administration were the likely target of last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's according to the US Attorney General Todd Blanche. The president and his wife Melania, as well as members of the US cabinet, were evacuated from the ballroom at the Washington Hilton Hotel after gunfire was heard in the lobby. One Secret Service agent was shot, but was saved by his bulletproof vest. 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen has been arrested on firearms and assault charges and is due in court tomorrow. He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun and several knives. Now, police say the motive remains unknown, but Mr. Trump has described the suspect as a sick person who was strongly anti-Christian.
He had a lot of hatred in his heart for quite a while. And it was a religious thing. It was strongly anti-Christian. And I don't know if you've gotten it, just got released, a manifesto. He said a manifesto, can you believe it? And so he's got some big problems with the rest of his life. The guy is a sick guy. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. That's one thing for sure.